allow me to dream my Laker. Allow me to dream my Laker. Let me ball, let me spot you.
Jehovah, another vibe. Call me Shebody Prophet. Fala, what you give me? Tell me what you mean. The simple I will live in vain. What you, anything to the people post a talk. Anything to the people post a talk. Why you sure scared to say you go to? In long just to call you all in there. I just want to say you go to fall. Shall live your life and let it be.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of the Secretariat. We shall now proceed to consider draft resolution A/79/L89. Before giving the floor for explanations of vote before the vote, may I remind delegations that explanations of vote are limited to 10 minutes and should be made by delegations from their seats. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President. The United States thanks Mongolia for its leadership and efforts in facilitating the process on this resolution. The United States also appreciates the efforts by several members to seek a compromise throughout the negotiation, including to remove preambular climate references that distracted from the true matter under consideration. However, the text of this resolution contains positions we cannot support, which compels us to call a vote today. Regrettably, there were no textual accommodations in support of consensus, despite initial flexibility during open negotiations regarding preambular language on the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals. The United States has made clear that the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Sustainable Development Goals impinge upon the state sovereignty as a soft form of global governance and will no longer reaffirm them as a matter of course in UN resolutions. For these reasons, the United States will call a vote on this resolution. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the distinguished representative of the United States. We have heard the last speaker in explanation of vote before the vote. The Assembly will now take a decision on draft resolution A/79/L89 entitled World Horse Day. A recorded vote has been requested. We shall now begin the voting process. Those in favor of draft resolution A/79/L89, please signify. Those against? Abstentions?
The Assembly is now voting on draft resolution A/79/L89 entitled World Horse Day. Will all delegations confirm that their votes are correctly reflected on the screen? The voting has been completed. Please lock the machine.
The result of the vote is as follows. In favor, 169. Against, 1. Abstentions, 0. Draft resolution A/79/L89 is adopted. Before giving the floor for explanations of vote after the vote, may I remind delegations that explanations of vote are limited to 10 minutes and should be made by delegations from their seats. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Mexico.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mexico is grateful to Mongolia for its efforts to table and facilitate this draft resolution. Mexico recognizes the historic, cultural and socioeconomic significance of the horse, as well as its undeniable links with rural communities, indigenous peoples, and myriad cultural expressions. However, my country believes that whilst it is important to establish these ties and step up measures to guarantee their protection and safeguard the horse, we believe that these actions cannot be conducted without can be conducted without proclaiming an international day, as happens in myriad other cases with other animals, goods, etc., etc. We did vote in favour of the resolution. However, my country's stance is clear when it comes to proposals in terms of proclaiming various days, years, and international decades. There is a worrying proliferation of such proposals. These commemorative celebrations can be relevant. However, the reality is that in recent years, these days have frequently and unnecessarily increased in number and complexity, as we saw with today's votes. That has placed an untenable burden on our system and our shoulders, and we should take action. As far in this session so far, we've proclaimed 7 international days and 1 international year. In the previous session, we adopted 15 international days and 6 international years. 2 sessions ago, we adopted 12 international days and 2 international years. Combined, this constitutes a total of 27 international days and 8 years proclaimed as such in only 2 sessions. This trend is a growing one. We're adopting more and more resolutions to establish new commemorative celebrations. This involves forward towards a more effective mechanism, which is more streamlined and coherent in nature, one which allows us to group together these commemorative celebrations under broad thematic frameworks. Mr. President, Mexico hopes that the proclamation of such international days will become more efficient, less repetitive, and more substantive in nature. We appeal to all to contemplate balance between symbolism and functionality in the work of this General Assembly. Thank you.
I thank the distinguished representative of Mexico. We have heard the last speaker. The Assembly has thus concluded this stage of its consideration of Agenda Item 13. The meeting is suspended for 15 minutes while the ballot papers are being counted.
towards a just, inclusive, and prosperous future. As the country undergoes important reforms and transitions, I want to assure you that the UN stands ready to assist in fostering peace, national dialogue, trust, and healing. You can count on the UN to be your steadfast partner, working alongside the government and the people of Bangladesh to help build a sustainable, equitable future for all.
Origins is the beginnings. It means the roots. Talk about people who have been forcibly taken away from the continent. Talking about where I was born, Nigeria, the culture I was raised in. So for me, this piece is drawing from the different symbols and different themes that have to do with the place I was born.
Good Trouble is an act of defiance. The piece behind me is titled Caribbean Olympics. The Haitian Revolution is the theme. By addressing the work through a swimming competition, in this case, Haiti is first, waving his hand in the air, symbolizing liberation and the first island to gain independence.
We're so excited to be here at the United Nations. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, and that's what the Stories of Us is all about. We believe that if we're going to make those ideals a reality, then we have to truly know each other, because we are our stories. We are the stories we hear, we are the stories we tell.
This year, we're going into the second decade for people of African descent. We also invited them as part of the Transatlantic Slave Trade and Slavery Outreach Program. It speaks to the origins of enslavement, and then it traces emancipation, those struggles that happened, and then it really lands in this area of asking us to reimagine the world that we want to live in with much more justice and dignity.
For me, having this piece here, the United Nations, in this time, is very important because as a talking drum, I like to drum up the attention that Haiti really deserve and need, especially right now.
Artworks like this help to show the complexities of what makes us human. This is just an amazing thing to have this experience. We walk into this place and see the different sides of what makes us unique and what makes us beautiful, and that's what makes us human.
It's extremely important to recognize that Afghanistan is one of the world's most climate-impacted countries and also prone to natural disasters. I was able to witness firsthand the work that has been done on reintegrating refugees and returnees coming into the province, looking at the work that has been done in response to the earthquake in this area. Innovative approaches have been undertaken by the United Nations and partners to have local vernacular structures which are earthquake resistance, rebuilding permanent structures in this village behind me. I have seen again firsthand the collective efforts of the local authorities, of the partners, NGOs and the United Nations in trying to rebuild the lives together with the communities here. The response has enabled people to rebuild lives in a very challenging environment. And in my visit in Herat, I have had the opportunity to look at private sector enterprises that are working, bringing Afghan men and women into the marketplace, into economic activity, and particularly women-led micro and small enterprises was eye-opening to look at the potential on one side and the need for support for these enterprises to scale up through investments in microfinance, access to markets, support in business literacy skills, etc. This is a vital part of rebuilding Afghanistan with its private sector, tapping into the human capital of Afghan men and women, and affording the space, particularly for women and girls, to contribute and have the space to be part of the nation-building process of Afghanistan.
In a world that is experiencing the first impacts of climate change, one of the most significant transformations is occurring in the cryosphere. Glaciers, once emblematic symbols of snow's timeless accumulation, crucial to understanding and addressing the complexities of the cryosphere's changes. And more ambitious mitigation, convene countries and communities affected by glacier loss and mobilize the international community to share knowledge and best practices for preservation and adaptation. The International Year therefore provides a unique opportunity to preserve these invaluable resources and encourage collaborative efforts to safeguard the delicate balance of the cryosphere.
في عدد كبير من المتهمين كانوا داخل السجون لفترات طويلة. عشان يحددوا لك الجلسة انت بتكون الليلة كاملة ما نمت. فنحن برضو بنجي نتكلم معاهم وبنطمنهم انه الحاجة اللي ربنا كاتبها لك ما بتفوتك، وانت قعدت زمن طويل ومنتظر اليوم ده. الليلة اليوم ده جاء وانت خليك جاهز له، والزمن اللي بديك له القاضي ده زمن محدد. انت حاول تذكر فيه كل الأحداث واحكيها بنفس تفاصيلها عشان القاضي يقدر ياخذ قرار في الحاجة دي ويقدر يساعدك.
We hope that the government will prepare an implementation mechanism to ensure that the recommendations of the Judicial Reform Committee are implemented in a graduated manner, subject of course to availability of funds and availability of personnel. But this will lead to a comprehensive development and extension of justice system in this country, which all political parties and all parts of society agree is the utmost necessity of this country.
A very bad situation for people on the ground, many of whom are extremely vulnerable, who are being hit for the third time this season by a cyclone. Nearly all of the river basins and dams in Nampula province and many parts of Zambezia province are already full. So this is going to create inevitably some very serious flooding. That brings a risk of waterborne diseases like cholera, diarrhea, malaria, diseases that are really killers of children. This cyclone is really hitting a part of the country where the population density is very high. Nampula has the highest number of children out of any province. We've moved a lot of supplies into position so that they're ready to distribute as soon as it's possible, as soon as the wind and the rain dies down, and we're able to get out to those affected communities.
Como un facilitador comunitario, puedes ayudar a las personas, no resolviéndolo tú, sino ayudándolos a ellos a que resuelvan los problemas. Estas actividades que nos enseñaron me ayudó a arreglar una circunstancia aquí en la comunidad. Me enseñaron a hacer una pecera, donde como facilitador uno nunca debe de olvidar que debe poner las reglas y las pautas a la hora de empezar. Siempre tiene que haber una secuencia, un inicio, un desarrollo, un final. Así me di cuenta en qué momento puedo o no puedo hablar cuando las personas estén desarrollando todos sus temas. Los conflictos entre ellos, en qué momento puedo permitir que puedan hablar y en qué momento no, para evitar que los conflictos se aumenten. Y de verdad que surtió efecto porque se resolvió un problema, un conflicto aquí en la comunidad. Entonces para mí fue un éxito haber aprendido algo de estas prácticas porque lo traje a cabo acá a la comunidad. me he dado cuenta que me he convertido aquí en un espacio seguro para la comunidad.
Nous sommes ici au stade de Rugombo, au Burundi, où des milliers de familles réfugiées ont trouvé refuge après avoir fui les conflits au Congo.
Over 63,000 people now have crossed into the country, Burundi, fleeing atrocities and deadly conflict in parts of Eastern DR Congo, the largest influx this country has seen in decades.
Masasi kaanza na 22h ya usiku. Selifika asubuhi saa 11 saa 12 tukaanza wai kukuya kuvuka ku Rusizi. Tulivuka Rusizi tukafika hapa Rugombo le 14. Ndio tulifika hapa Rugombo, ilikuwa siku ya posho. Sasa tunaona hapa maisha yako nguvu sana juu atuzowei. Kama vile tunalala mubashe, tulikuwa na manyumba yetu kama Nyola, tunalala mbashe atuzowei. Ona. Sisi tuko tunaenda kushamba kulima, hivi tunaikala tu hivi atuzowei. Ndio maana vite kisha kule kutoka Manyola tutarudia.
This country, despite its best efforts, was not prepared for this emergency. Humanitarian agencies are working round the clock. My colleagues are working Monday to Saturday, 6 days out of 7, at Rugombo, making sure that people are registered, trying to fasten the process so that they're moved to the refugee sites.
J'ai le virus de planter des arbres. Ça me plaît beaucoup. Ici, c'était un dépotoir d'ordures ménagères. Du fait que les villageois ne savaient pas qu'est-ce que c'est que l'importance de la forêt, ils prenaient leurs ordures et les déposaient. En ce moment, je les ai sensibilisés de leur dire que l'arbre doit vivre comme nous, donc il ne faut pas salir l'arbre. C'est ce que nous a donné l'impact positif pour avoir ici un périmètre pour cultiver. Le 2 mai 2005, on a allé voir les eaux et forêts qui nous ont attribué 500 mètres carrés. On a initié, intégré les femmes dans un AGR. Et avec ça, on a choisi le maraîchage. On était à 3 hectares, mais on ne cultive pas sous la haute tension et on nous a déguerpi et on est à 2 hectares.
Si on fait travailler ces femmes dans cette forêt, c'est pour qu'elles prennent également soin de cette forêt. Non seulement ça permet de fertiliser les sols, mais ça permet également de les autonomiser économiquement à travers la vente de fruits.
Tous les arbres fruitiers que vous voyez, c'est nous qui l'ont planté. Chaque citronnier, on y récoltait plus de 60 kilos.
Merci beaucoup. Que ce sont des dames très dynamiques, des dames très braves, qui subissent de plein fouet les effets des changements climatiques. Nous, on vient en rescousse pour informer, pour sensibiliser sur des solutions, la promotion de bonnes pratiques. Pour les cas pires, c'est également l'apparition de nouveaux parasites. Et ça, on le vit ici au quotidien et un peu partout au Sénégal. Ça participe également à la dégradation des sols. Justement, c'est la raison pour laquelle nous, on essaye de trouver comme solution prioritaire aujourd'hui le reboisement massif dans les périmètres maraîchers avec des espèces qui sont répulseurs aussi.
Notre projet d'avenir, si les femmes l'acceptent, on veut faire un projet de pépinière dans les alvéoles pour alléger les travaux.
La femme est à l'image de la terre. Ce sont des vrais écoféministes qui sont là, qui sont engagés pour la protection et la préservation de l'environnement.
La forêt, c'est nous et nous, c'est la forêt.
فلما بدأت الهدنة الأولى أنا كان من أول الناس اللي رجعت على غزة.
نص ساعة إن شاء الله أكون في البيت
يعني أعمل في مستشفى الشفاء ما قبل الحرب.
كانت هنا كلها هذه محلات ببيعوا خضرة وفواكه. كله راح، كله راح، ما ضل شيء. يعني أنا بصدمة. ممكن أقدر أحكي إنه البلد هذه صابها زلزال ما خلى حاجة موجودة. نرجع نشتغل على شغلنا اللي هي كطبيب، أرجع أشتغل بمستشفى الشفاء، أرجع كدكتور. لكن ما عارف الأوضاع الآن كيف الأوضاع في المستشفى، لأنه أنا لي تقريبا من قبل الحرب، ما من قبل 7 أكتوبر ما شفتها يعني. رايحين على الشفاء. ها دير بالك. طبعا هذا منظر محزن. طبعا أنا جيت على المستشفى هذا لما تعينت كنت يعني عمري ما يقارب 25 سنة. مبنى 8 هذا كان مبنى جراحات، في الجراحة العامة وجراحة العظام. أنا بتفرج هيك أنا مش مصدق، الأمور لا تصدق. بين المباني هذه والمستشفى والأطباء زملاتنا، هذا مستشفى الشفاء تمثل إلي. أنا أولادي انولدوا في المستشفى هذا، يعني أولادي اللي أول ولد عندي انولد في المستشفى هذا. إحنا اللي صار فينا حرام هذا. يعني إحنا إن إيش ذنبنا إحنا؟ ما هو الذنب اللي إحنا؟ أنا بحكي كشريحة أطباء أو شريحة أطفال أو شريحة ناس بتدرس في الجامعات. ما هو ذنبنا يعني؟ مستشفى الشفاء تساوي حياة كل غزي. الشفاء يعني حياة الفلسطينيين الغزيين. هذا ما تمثل إلي، وهذا ما صراحة ما تقوم به مستشفى الشفاء.
Kisha kubeba mimba, bwana akaendaka, wakati yenye aliendaka na njo vile akaendaka aglote, hatukuonanaka tena, na njo vile nikazala na mpaka hivi.
We have had a few cases where the peacekeepers have admitted the paternity, and so the process can start for recognition of the child and to provide the maintenance and support for that child and to the mother. Member states, many of them, have national legislative frameworks that make it difficult for them to take on the responsibility of paternity, because many of them view the situation of paternity as a private obligation. From the UN side, we view that differently. Because the member state has provided personnel to peacekeeping operations, we think the member state also has responsibility, and it is their responsibility to have the peacekeeper acknowledge this paternity.
Batoto yenyewe walizaliwaka ku MONUSCO na wamama wanakosa kama watachungia watoto wapi, wanateseka. Ndeza lomba MONUSCO ibaapuie, ibasaidie wale watoto. Kesho yake wale watoto nao watasaidia nchi na babasaidie, watafute bababo wenyewe biko wakamate muzigo wa watoto yabo.
Moi, je plaide aussi auprès des États membres pour une mesure temporaire, parce que ça prend beaucoup de temps, tous les enjeux légaux pour adresser une requête de paternité.
We have not always given the focus and attention over the years to this particular aspect of our work on improving conduct and discipline, but we now have a focus on this because these are children left behind. And it really is our role as the United Nations to acknowledge our responsibilities and to work with the member states who have been part of this problem that we have been dealing with.
يعني بعرفش ايش اسوي، يعني الليله والله ما نمنا، فيش ما نمناش يعني بالمره، مش عارفه كيف ادبر حالي صرت، والهواء بيخلع خلع في الخيمه ومش عارفين يعني الواحد يعيش هيك موقف وهيك عيشه وهيك وضع.
أختي الصغيرة بتعاني كثير من الأمراض الجلدية
يعني أمراض جلدية مش طبيعية بسبب المياه المتلوثة عنا كتير، بنجيبها من الآبار المياه كتير متلوثة بسبب عنا أمراض تلبك معوي.
سابقة إنه كان البرد كتير، الجو بارد على الأطفال، والأم يعني بتتغلب في أشياء كتير الأم تتغلب فيها. البرد كتير لما نيجي نغير للطفل، لما نيجي نحممه، لما نيجي الحمام لأنه خارج خيمة وكله مكشوف يعني زي كأنه في الهواء الطلق. في كتير أطفال ماتوا من هذا البرد يعني لأنه الغاز شحيح والوقود شحيح وفيش كهرباء، فيش تدفئة مركزية، فيش إشي يعني يدفوا فيه الأطفال، الحرامات معدودة على الأطفال.
We figured out the idea of child-friendly spaces which should be available along the way of people who are evacuating.
Believe in a fair future for our country and for my children gives me hope.
There is this saying that the thing that doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And maybe it's true, but I also always say that I wish I didn't have that experience that I have now.
UN does the great work to support those families, and more support is needed. This is still ongoing war, and there's still a lot of humanitarian efforts and recovery efforts is needed to support people and to renew the country.
Every day, the strikes continue. Almost every day, every second day, there are reports of people being killed and injured. This war is mad. As we urge the international community to continue to stand with this country in solidarity, to provide the support to continue the humanitarian work, to also continue some of the early recovery work, the message equally loudly has to be, let this war stop.
J'ai changé le message pour dire que l'Afrique n'est pas une poubelle. C'est ici, donc, c'est le quartier général de l'homme plastique. Un dépotoir d'ordures, donc, transformé, donc, un petit paradis. Tous les arbres que vous voyez ici, c'est moi qui l'ai fait avec mon équipe. Nous avons constaté vraiment toutes les grandes surfaces commencent à utiliser des sacs en papier. Donc il y a certains gobelets donc, qui étaient là au début. Il est en train de disparaître définitivement donc, dans la circulation.
Reporting from Tel Aviv,
he said that there were confirmed reports from humanitarians and others that kilometers away from the place of reaching the humanitarian distribution center, according to the mechanism put in place, not the UN mechanism, and then there were gunned down some Palestinians through snipers and other methods of killing them to horrify them so that they do not even reach this mechanism that they put in place for humanitarian assistance. So the mechanism of the UN is the solid one, is the one that is supported almost by everyone, the Arabs, the Muslims, the Europeans, everyone, because why do you try to find a mechanism when the existing mechanism is a solid one, tested one, proved itself, they have the experience, they have the personnel, they know how to reach the people in all corners of the Gaza Strip and provide humanitarian assistance to them. So we will know in the Security Council at 12 o'clock exactly what the E10 will proceed to do with the humanitarian draft resolution. And now the Security Council has to act, and the threat or the fear of not succeeding should not deter the Security Council from carrying its responsibility. But of course, the Security Council speaks for itself. We are in contact with all those who are genuinely concerned and outraged. It was not only the Palestinian people who are outraged, as I expressed in my last statement in the Security Council, but I can objectively say the great majority of humanity and nation states are outraged of what is really going on in Gaza, and they want to do something. So that's why we see some elevation and changes of positions from big important countries in Europe and beyond, such as France, UK, and at the highest level in Spain, led by the Prime Minister. We appreciate that, and we are grateful for
your seats. The result, the Assembly will resume its consideration of sub-item A of Agenda Item 114 entitled Election of Non-Permanent Members of the Security Council. The result of the voting is as follows. Group A, African and Asia Pacific states, 3 seats. Results of the vote. Number of ballot papers, 188. Number of invalid ballots, 0. Number of valid ballots, 188. Abstentions, 1. Number of members present and voting, 187. Required 2/3 majority, 125. Number of votes obtained. Bahrain, 186. The Democratic Republic of Congo, 183. Liberia, 181. Group B, Eastern European states, 1 seat. Results of the vote. Number of ballots papers, 188. Number of invalid ballots, 0. Number of valid ballots, 188. Abstentions, 10. Number of members present and voting, 178. Required two-thirds majority, 119. Number of votes obtained, Latvia, 178. Group C, Latin American and Caribbean states, 1 seat. Results of the vote. Number of ballot papers, 188. Number of invalid ballots, 0. Number of valid ballots, 188. Abstentions, 8. Number of members present and voting, 180. Required two-thirds majority, 120. Number of votes obtained, Colombia, 180. Having obtained the required two-thirds majority and the largest number of votes, Bahrain, Colombia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Latvia, and Liberia are elected members of the Security Council for Thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me reread the sentence. Please do not clap while I'm reading. Having obtained the required two-thirds majority and the largest number of votes, Bahrain, Colombia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Latvia, and Liberia are elected members of the Security Council for a 2-year term beginning on January 1st, 2026. I congratulate the states which have just been elected members of the Security Council, and I thank the tellers for the assistance in this election. The Assembly has thus concluded its consideration of sub-item A of Agenda Item 114. Before adjourning, I wish to inform members that the following representatives have been elected chairpersons of the main committees of the Assembly at its 80th session and are accordingly members of the General Committee for that session. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me finish. First Committee, His Excellency Maurizio Massari of Italy. Special Political and Decolonization Committee, Fourth Committee, His Excellency Jose Alberto Briz Gutierrez of Guatemala. Second Committee, His Excellency Lamin Diba of Gambia. Third Committee, His Excellency Chet Chai Vavid of Thailand. Fifth Committee, His Excellency Zuzana Horvath of Hungary. Sixth Committee, Her Excellency Leila Castillon Laura Santos, Philippines. I congratulate the chairpersons of these main committees at the 80th session of the General Assembly on the election. The meeting is adjourned.
Okay, one more.
according to sources, the country that you mentioned, the permanent council member, which is the U.S., is not engaging on the draft resolution, as far as what we know. So you're saying at 12 we'll know if the council is going to go ahead and vote on it, even if the U.S. is not engaging on that draft resolution?
I said that there was a country from among the E10 took upon itself to engage the country that you referred to, the permanent member. And we will find out what the report from that member of the E10, which took upon itself to engage, not on behalf of the 10, but in its own national capacity, which we appreciate their efforts. We need to find a way for the Security Council to adopt a position regarding humanitarian help to our people in the Gaza Strip through the mechanisms of the United Nations and the international humanitarians who are present in the Gaza Strip. So we will see what the report will be, and we will see what the E10 will decide to do. I am sure that the E10 will share with you what their plans are. But I should not jump the gun and speak on their behalf, because I don't. But I'm sharing with you the development as they are unfolding. Still, you know, we will not leave a stone unturned in order to bring an end to this vicious attack against our people in the Gaza Strip. We need immediate and sustainable ceasefire, and we need humanitarian assistance to scale to reach all Palestinian people in all corners of the Gaza Strip through existing mechanisms.
Ambassador Farnoosh Amiri with AP. Can you tell us if any of those 40 or so countries that have yet to recognize the state of Palestine have done so ahead of the conference? Have you gotten any assurances from them that they plan to make announcements?
We will find out soon, but let me just tell you, if you are a leader in the preparation of this conference, and if you are advocating in the concept paper for countries to take practical steps to be action-oriented conference, and you have not recognized the state of Palestine, wouldn't it make sense that you would lead by example by taking a step in that direction? And if you are also a leader among the 19 leaders, whether co-chairing the roundtables or the two co-chairs of the conference, you are asking the international community and nations to take practical steps to strengthen the institutions of the state of Palestine, to stop the war in Gaza, to reconstruct Gaza, which requires commitment to substantial amount of monies. Shouldn't the leaders to lead by example by themselves committing to substantial amount of commitment in that direction? We trust that those leaders who are in a position of leadership and adopting and approving the concept paper will declare important steps in that direction. It's only a short period of time from now before the conference to be convened, and we are cautiously optimistic, but we trust that those leaders have the capability to do the right thing, and we trust they will do the right thing. My understanding in all of the meetings that took place here in New York, the three big ones, the United States was present, but at a lower level. They did not speak. My understanding also, in some of the meetings, Israel was present, but my understanding also they did not speak. This is General Assembly formula. Every member of the General Assembly is allowed and invited to participate in this conference. Those who select not to participate, that is their choice. But there is no one being deprived from participating in this meeting. Yes, ma'am. He did not officially declare. I am hopeful that by the time the conference is with us around, getting closer, and many leaders announce their participation, I am hopeful that President Abbas will participate. But the decision is up to him and up to the advisors around him. I am sure they're debating and discussing this issue. I impressed on him when I met with him in Amman recently that it is important for him to be in this conference, but I trust his wisdom and his judgment to make the right decision. Abdul Hamid.
There is an Arabic proverb that says that if you try the experience again and again, it will not produce the same results. So how many times you talked about engaging the Security Council? The Security Council should shoulder its responsibility. We should do it again. We engage in the member states, but nothing has been done. Israel continues with its genocide war. Nothing is stopping Israel because there is one country which is protected. It's not a war between Israel and Palestine. It's an American-Israeli war against Palestine. You know, everyone knows. So what could be done to deter the U.S. from continuing with its endless, enormous support of Israeli Jews?
My answer to this, question, which reflect a mood of large number who are frustrated with the fact that the international community, including the Security Council, is dragging its feet and not stopping this crime against our people. I understand that feeling. I get it. But yet also in the same time, I believe in two things. One, there is a law in physics that we learned in physics that it says, if you keep accumulating things, the accumulation of quantities at one point will lead to a transformation into changes of quality. التراكمات الكمية ستوصل إلى تحولات النوعية. This is a law in physics. So that's number one. And I am a science student, although I am also a political scientist, and a law by practice through this UN, which requires creative thinking to keep accumulating. I am not a magician, or there is a silver bullet. If any one of you has a silver bullet to resolve this issue in few seconds, please show me. The second thing that I rely on, we are not exception to the rule. Let's take the super noble leader among all of us, Nelson Mandela. It took him forever, including 27 years in Robben Island as a prisoner. But he kept accumulating. He kept accumulating. And he won the support, not only of his people, but the support of the majority of nations, starting from Europe, after Africa, and other countries. And there was one last country that even after he was released from Robben Island and came to the United States as a superhero of humanity, he was still received a visa with an exception because he was a terrorist. He was removed from the terrorist list in that country 4 years after his freedom from Robben Island. Now, people do not like to remember these details. They like to remember that he was free. We are like him. We are still marching the march of accumulating this tremendous support that we are receiving from everyone, from millions, hundreds of millions of people in the streets of everywhere. This is a qualitative shift, even in the United States of America, and you lived most of your life in the United States. I did like you. We tried so many times in the past to include justice for the Palestinians as part of the national discourse among the social political movement in the United States. And we were denied. They thought that we are a liability, whether during the war against Vietnam or whether during the civil rights movement. But there is something different since Black Lives Matter in the United States. A huge social and political movement is taking place in this country that includes blacks, Latinos, labor unions, students who are Jews, Palestinians, Muslims from all corners of the globe. All of them are now embracing justice for the Palestinians and stopping the war in the Gaza Strip. This is a new phenomenon. It happened in the same manner during the fight against apartheid in the United States of America. It was the last stand before the collapse of apartheid. I believe, with my humble opinion and my experience in this work, that we are in the same path. It is going to be a matter of time before all governments, including the government of the most powerful in this country, to listen to the people who are marching in the millions of them in all streets of the United States, who are saying ceasefire now in the Gaza Strip, justice for the Palestinian people, and they are calling for dignity and respect for the Palestinian people through exercising their right to self-determination. I believe it is a matter of time before we see qualitative changes in the policies of those who make the decisions in the United States of America, and I don't lose hope. So that's why, while you might think that I should be the most depressed person here in this building, as a diplomat, I am not. I am the most hopeful one because I see everything. I see those who support us. I see the complexity. I see the pain and the tragedy of the Palestinian people, particularly in the Gaza Strip. It's a heart-wrenching situation, but yet leaders, they should lead by their heads and their brains and their wisdom and their creativity, not by anger and emotions, although our situation would anger the stones, would anger everyone, and we have the right to be angry, but yet leaders need to act with wisdom, with vision, with patience, with increasing the support and decreasing the support to the enemy, and to isolate the enemy until we break the backbone of this illegal occupation and acquire our independence and freedom. And I see it coming as I see you. And I sincerely hope to see it while I'm alive. But even if that is not the case, my children and my grandchildren and yours and all of you will be able to witness such a historic moment, as I am proud to say I was in the General Assembly with my daughter, few years old, when we welcomed Nelson Mandela as a hero of humanity after his freedom. Our moment will come.
طبعا أولوياتكم واضحة بالنسبة للمؤتمر المرتقب هنا في الأمم المتحدة خلال أيام، ولكن نسمع في التصريحات الأوروبية والغربية بنود لا نسمعها في التصريحات العربية، والمتعلقة بارتباط مسألة الاعتراف بالتطبيع. هل ترى أن هذين المسارين متلازمان في هذا المؤتمر؟ وهل ترى أن مسألة التطبيع ستؤثر على مسألة الاعتراف بدولة فلسطين؟
أنا أعرف على أنه مثل هذه القضايا قد أثيرت في النقاش في التحضيرات للمؤتمر الدولي، وأعرف جيدا أن قوى دول عربية وازنة وقائدة قد وضحت أن هذين الموضوعين منفصلين. الاعتراف بدولة فلسطين شأن وطني للدول التي تريد أن تعترف بنا. التطبيع مع إسرائيل هو موضوع مختلف تماما، وحدد العرب منذ قمة بيروت عندما اعتمدوا مبادرة السلام العربية، والذي لا يزال العرب والمسلمين ملتفين حولها، والتي تدعو إلى أن موضوع التطبيع يأتي بعد انتهاء الاحتلال واستقلال دولة فلسطين وعضويتها في الأمم المتحدة، ثم مسألة التطبيع تأتي بعد ذلك، حيث أن العرب في مبادرة السلام العربية في بيروت عام 2002 والمسلمين في اجتماع وزاري وأعتقد قمة إسلامية في طهران قد أكدوا على هذه المبادرة التي تدعو إلى إنهاء الاحتلال أولاً والدولة الفلسطينية قبل أن يتم التطبيع في هذا الشأن. ولذلك يعني نعرف النقاش الجاري، ونعرف الذين يريدوا أن يضيفوا ثمناً لاعترافهم بدولة فلسطين شيئاً ليس هو مطروحاً على جدول الأعمال. الاعتراف بدولة فلسطين هو شأن وطني للدول التي ستقدم على هذه الخطوة، ويجب أن لا ترتبط بمسائل من النوع التي أشرت إليه. ونحن نشكر الدول العربية التي تقف بثبات في الالتزام بهذا الموقف. دولة فلسطين واستقلالها التي تتطلب إنهاء الاحتلال وتجسيد حل الدولتين على الأرض، أي المؤتمر الدولي اللي بنتكلم عنه هو لهذه الأغراض، هو أولويات قبل أي مسائل أخرى متعلقة بالتطبيع. وخاصة أن إسرائيل يعني تعلن كل يوم لا للدولة الفلسطينية لا لحل الدولتين، فتقدم لهم هدايا مجانية من هذا النوع لأي غرض إذا أنت كنت قائدا تريد أن تنفذ حل الدولتين. اعترف بدولة فلسطين وعزز هذا الدور، وعزز محاصرة الذي يعادي دولة فلسطين، لأن يستجيب إلى النداء الدولي أن دولة فلسطين هي الممر الإجباري، واستقلالها إلى أي تطبيع وإلى أي سلام منشود لمنفعة كل شعوب الشرق الأوسط هو ما يجب أن يتم. وهذا ما سيركز عليه المؤتمر الدولي، ونأمل أن يكون ذلك نقطة انعطاف هامة على طريق أن تسلم إسرائيل.
The results of today's election reflect the unwavering trust and confidence member states have placed in Bahrain's diplomatic efforts, underscoring our steadfast commitment to fostering peace, stability, and collaboration on the global stage. This outcome not only validates our dedication to enhancing international peace and security, but also reinforces our determination to be a proactive contributor to these critical goals. On this occasion, may I extend my heartfelt congratulations to His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, King of the Kingdom of Bahrain, His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and the great people of Bahrain on this remarkable achievement of being elected to a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council for the 2026-2027 term. In the face of the many challenges confronting our world, Bahrain is fully committed to working collectively with all Security Council members and the broader United Nations community. Our goal is to fortify peace and stability within our region and globally, support multilateralism, and uphold the principles enshrined in the United Nations Charter. Bahrain's approach will emphasize dialogue, coexistence, mutual respect, and consensus building. We will continue to be a voice for peace, a bridge for understanding, and an advocate for solutions that resonate with the aspirations of all peoples seeking a peaceful and prosperous future. We recognize the significant responsibilities that accompany our seat on the Security Council, and we are dedicated to engaging earnestly and working towards the shared principles that unite us. As we embark on this important term, we look forward to collaborating closely with fellow Security Council members and the international community. In this spirit, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the member states of the United Nations for entrusting the Kingdom of Bahrain with this honor and responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you, sir.
And at the outset, congratulations on being elected to the Security Council, which is quite an achievement at this time. Getting into the Council with the current international situation and all the issues are tangled these days. Let me focus on your region. There was a recent report from the IAEA about Iran nuclear enrichment activities and how their level of enrichment have achieved or very close to achieve the levels needed to produce a nuclear weapon. How does your country feel about that, and what are you planning to do once you become a member in the Council and you might be in the non-proliferation committee and all of this issue? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the mandate of the United Nations Security Council is to achieve peace and security in the world. The region seek and need to have peace and security in the region. We will work towards supporting a successful negotiation and talks that are happening right now in the region with the support and coordination of the countries of the region. The region and our vision is to have a region that is safe, secure, prosperous, free of weapons of nuclear weapons, where the peoples of the region, all the peoples of the region, can live side by side despite their differences in religion, in sect, and ideologies, live in a peace and secure and prosperous region that we can let our children and their children inherit. Thank you, sir.
How much importance will it be for the two-state solution of Palestine will be on your agenda in the Security Council?
Definitely our priority is peace, and we firmly believe that the cornerstone for achieving peace in the region is resolving the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. It's a long-standing conflict. The immediate requirement or need is really to have a ceasefire in Gaza, the release of all hostages and detainees, the immediate allowance for inflow of humanitarian support, and work towards achieving a two-state solution where we have a secured Israel and a viable state of Palestine. Our diplomatic and political efforts are to increase the number of countries recognizing the state of Palestine, and hopefully will provide all the support that we can facilitate the success of dialogue and conferences. We wish all the best for the coming conference that will be chaired by Saudi Arabia and France. And if we, the world, unite on providing and supporting a peaceful, political, diplomatic solution, I think it will be the great present for humanity. Thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, today marks a defining moment for the Democratic Republic of the Congo. With humility and determination, we welcome the decision of the United Nations General Assembly to elect our country to serve as non-permanent member of the Security Council for the 2026-2027 term. On behalf of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Félix Antoine Tshisekedi Tshilombo, and in the name of the Congolese people, I wish to express our deep and sincere gratitude to all member states that supported our candidacy. We also wish to pay tribute to the African Union, the unwavering support of our continental organization, and the solidarity of all its member states have been instrumental. This election is not only a mark of confidence in the DRC, it is also a reflection of Africa's unity and its rightful place in shaping the global peace and security agenda. The mandate that begins in January 2026 is one we embrace fully. We are conscious of its weight, but also of its significance. The DRC brings to the Council not only its national experience, but also the voice of a continent that continues to bear the cost of conflicts it did not cause, and whose contributions to peace are too often overlooked. We will serve with dignity, independence of judgment, and loyalty to the principles of the Charter. We will work with all members of the Council to advance peace, uphold international law, and promote the legitimate aspirations of people around the world. To all those who have placed their trust in us, we will honor it. The DRC is ready to serve with clarity of purpose, fidelity to principle, and a commitment to shared solutions. Thank you.
Will DRC put more focus on the issue in the eastern border of DRC in the Security Council agenda while you're the member of the Security Council?
Of course, the situation in eastern DRC is front and center for the Congolese government because it is our people who are being victimized. But at the same time, we need to acknowledge the fact that we are here as a country that has received the vote of confidence of the African Union. We will most certainly come to the Security Council bearing the experience of a country that knows what it is like to have decades of conflict, that has a thorough understanding of the challenges of peacekeeping operations and protection of civilians issues, as well as the convergence between conflict, natural resources, and environmental changes. And this is the experience and expertise we wish to bring to the table, not to serve our own interests, but to serve the interests of humanity, because we know that the situation in the DRC is not an individual or isolated one. We have a lot of crises around the world, and we want to contribute with the strength of our experience and our expertise to the resolution of these challenges. Thank you.
And
Good day to all. It's a special day for Latvia, first time ever. We are elected to the UN Security Council. We are humbled, we are overjoyed, and we are indeed ready for this responsibility. We are grateful for the trust, and we will justify it to the best of our knowledge and expertise. Our historical experience puts us in the position to understand, empathize with, and forge partnerships across every region of the world. As a country that was once ruled by foreign powers, Latvia will be a firm and consistent voice in support of the UN Charter, international law, and in the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all states. We know the value of freedom. We know the fragility of peace and the power of multilateralism to safeguard it. We will spare no effort to achieve a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. We will spare no effort to alleviate the human suffering in the Middle East, Gaza, Africa, and other conflicts around the globe. Our priorities will include advocacy for the UN Security Council's attention to the new and emerging threats of the 21st century, which include cybersecurity, AI-produced disinformation, and threats to maritime security. We also stand for advancing the agenda of women, peace, and security, including efforts to address sexual violence in conflicts. Our campaign slogan, Together for Peace and Resilience, reflects our belief in cooperation as the only path to addressing global challenges. Latvians are hardworking, very practical people. We are also very resilient, and we are also very prepared for our work in the Council. So we hope to bring our solutions-oriented spirit to this august body. And I would like to congratulate the ministers and partners from the Kingdom of Bahrain, Colombia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Liberia on the election to the Security Council. We look forward to working together with the current and future members of the Council for fostering international peace and security and standing up for the UN Charter.
Minister, just one quick question. Are you ready to work with other permanent members of the Security Council, especially Russia?
Listen, we work for concrete outcomes. We want to bring peace and security to Ukraine. We want to bring peace and security to other regions. We will do what is necessary to achieve that.
Minister, congratulations. What steps do you plan to take on Ukraine in the Security Council? What would be your ideal scenario?
Security Council is already quite involved with both hearing the facts on the ground, hearing what is happening, knowing from the reports of the UN staffs and agencies and others. And that concerns a variety of issues. It's not only the humanitarian situation, suffering of civilians, women, suffering of children, but also such issues as nuclear security. So we look forward to continuing this work together with the others to make sure that both the Council knows what are facts on the ground, but also offering concrete solutions possible. I thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. The Colombian ambassador will speak in Spanish and I will be doing the translation.
Colombia, elegida al Consejo de Seguridad como miembro no permanente, que queremos transmitir realmente la experiencia de Colombia al Consejo de Seguridad e invitar a todos su experiencia para mejorar las condiciones de la humanidad.
Colombia has just been elected to the Security Council, and we will be bringing our experience in order to ameliorate the conditions of humanity.
Este bienio 26-27 es relevante por las situaciones que vivimos globalmente.
This two-year period is especially relevant given the circumstances that we are living.
Y por eso quiero invitar a los miembros no permanentes, a los Estados miembros de Naciones Unidas, a continuar con el propósito de convivir con la naturaleza, de vivir para cuidarla, de poder compartir lo que tenemos.
And so I want to invite all member states to keep working together in harmony with nature to preserve what we have.
Queremos con esto construir la paz que necesitamos globalmente.
And we need to build the peace that the world needs.
Invitarlos a todos a que sigamos la ruta que necesitamos, la defensa de los derechos humanos, el espíritu de la paz que está por dentro de todos nosotros, lo pongamos en una implementación para un futuro mejor.
And we invite you all to keep working in the path of human rights and peace building for a better future.
La votación de los 180 votos que hemos obtenido hoy para Colombia, gracias a quienes nos apoyaron y consideramos que es un trabajo en conjunto, que es para tener objetivos comunes que nos permita realmente fortalecer globalmente lo que necesitamos.
We thank the 180 member states who gave us today the mandate to keep working for this better future that we need.
Gracias por apoyar a Colombia y los invitamos nuevamente a que nos unamos para mejorar las condiciones de la humanidad y de la naturaleza.
Thank you for supporting Colombia, and once again we invite you all to unite and for the betterment of the world.
Con paz y construyéndola vamos a lograr un mundo mejor. Muchas gracias.
Building peace is the way to go for a better world. Thank you so much.
So will Colombia be working with the A3 as a plus in the Security Council on votes and debates?
Que si Colombia va a trabajar con el A3 en los debates, pero desde que todavía es muy temprano para tomar decisiones.
Nosotros tenemos que avanzar con lo que viene y consideramos que tomar decisiones antes de empezar no es muy correcto. Espero que podamos avanzar con los intereses comunes que se nos presentan en el Consejo de Seguridad. Muchas gracias.
We will bring the proposals that we've had for a long time, but it is too early to provide an answer to you. We will begin consultations and be ready when the time comes. Thank you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Today, we stand at a historic crossroads, a moment that will resonate through the annals of time, a moment marked not just by numbers on a ballot, but by the unwavering commitment to peace, security, and cooperation amongst nations. Liberia is deeply honored to accept this momentous vote for our position on the United Nations Security Council. This achievement is not merely a reflection of our dedication, it is a testament to the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of countless individuals who yearn for a world where dialogue triumphs over discord, where unity prevails over division. We have gathered here as representatives of diverse cultures and perspectives, but we are united in our shared purpose to forge a more just and equitable world. As we embrace this new responsibility, we remember the weight of the trust placed upon us, and we are aware that the challenges we face are formidable: conflict, inequality, and climate change, to name just a few. Let us also honor the legacy of those who've come before us, who've paved the way for this moment with their courage and conviction. Today, we celebrate not just a vote, but a renewed commitment to our shared humanity. Together, we shall rise to the occasion, and together we shall make the change that we all wish to see. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts to the nations of the world that gave Liberia its confidence. We embark on this journey with hope, courage, and an unwavering resolve to make a difference for all. Thank you.
Liberia, under the previous Biden administration, worked closely with the U.S. and the General Assembly. Will you continue that close relationship with the U.S. in the Security Council?
Liberia's vote is a vote for Africa, and we shall make sure that we follow the African common position.
Demanding immediate action. A child is sold, exploited, and lost to a system that thrives on silence. And the numbers? Despite ongoing efforts, they are worse than ever. According to the latest global report on trafficking,
Good afternoon, everyone. So first, with regard to elections, as you're aware, there is now a president-elect for the 80th session of the UN General Assembly, Her Excellency Ms. Annalena Baerbock. Her acceptance speech is on the UN General Assembly's website. The president of the UN General Assembly for this session, His Excellency Mr. Philemon Yang, in his remarks stated that the challenges of our time are enormous, and her pledge to serve as an honest broker, to listen, to build trust, and to foster dialogue across different divides is precisely what this assembly needs. There were also elections for the 21 vice presidents as well as the officers of the main committees, and the first seat at the General Assembly for the 80th session goes to Niger. With regard to the UN Security Council, the election of the 5 non-permanent members of the Security Council took place earlier. The new members are Bahrain, Colombia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Latvia, and Liberia. The 5 new members elected this year will take their seats on the 1st of January 2026 and will serve until 31st of December 2027. They replace Algeria, Guyana, the Republic of Korea, Sierra Leone, and Slovenia. The President conveys his congratulations to all those who have been elected. Tomorrow there will be the election of new members of the UN Economic and Social Council. Now to other notes. This afternoon there will be a debate on the protracted conflicts in the Guam area, Georgia, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, and Moldova, and their implications for international peace, security, and development. Informal consultations on the 2025 World Social Summit take place on the 4th and the 5th of June. There were also consultations yesterday. Informal consultations on a high-level meeting on the prevention and control of non-communicable diseases and the promotion of mental health and well-being take place on the 5th of June. And there will be a debate on the implementation of the Declaration of Commitments on HIV/AIDS on the 5th of June as well. Now on to next week. An informal meeting of the plenary to hear a briefing by the Special Envoy of the Secretary General on Myanmar, Ms. Julie Bishop, takes place on the 10th of June. There will also be an informal meeting to hear a briefing by Ms. Carla Quintana, the head of the Independent Institution on Missing Persons in the Syrian Arab Republic on the 12th of June. And then President Yang will hold a high-level debate of the Assembly on a second chance addressing the global prison challenge on 13th June to mark the 10th anniversary of the adoption of the UN Standard Minimum Rules for the treatment of prisoners. In terms of announcements, the President will be traveling to the UN Ocean Conference, which takes place from the 9th to the 13th of June in Nice, France. We will share more details later this week on his engagements there. Now, lastly, as you know, the signing of the UN Charter 80 years ago was a pivotal movement, a bold commitment to dialogue, diplomacy, and cooperation. As we head towards UN Charter Day on the 26th of June, we look forward to sharing a week in history to spotlight transformative action taken by member states. This week, the first UN Environment Conference took place on the 5th to the 16th of June, 1972 in Sweden, following a resolution adopted by member states of the General Assembly in 1969. And this called for a conference on the relationship between environmental, social, and economic issues. This conference was a Stockholm conference called the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment. And following Stockholm, global awareness of environmental issues increased dramatically. And this is it from my side. If there are questions in the room, sure, Desi.
Hi, Sharon. A couple of questions. First, yesterday, the election of the 80th PGA, there's voting process. As I understand, there should be like just clap for consensus and to elect the new PGA elect. So who requires this vote?
In terms of a member state can require a vote by secret ballots, and that voting process did take place yesterday, and we did share the voting results with everyone.
But is there anyone who asked for that secret ballot?
I don't have official confirmation. I just know that a
the
vote
who
was
initiated
requested.
This?
That one I would have to follow up on because I just know a vote was requested.
It's being requested, but you don't know who requested
and
it.
a secret, and the voting process took place, and we had shared the results of the voting process with everyone.
Okay, couple of other questions today. The latest resolution adopted in the GA, World Horse Day. Any response from the PGA about this important World Day?
In terms of the adoption of the resolution, you know, obviously in terms of World Horse Day, he always welcomes these resolutions that, you know, just reflect the consensus of the international community. And we all know the contribution that horses make in terms of environments and activities.
Then during all this consensus, there's one country voted against it, which is USA. What's the response from the PGA about that?
Member states have a right to vote as they wish on any resolution. This, you know, the General Assembly, it's a member state-driven process.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, I do.
Thank you. Spain is circulating a draft resolution regarding the situation in Gaza. Can you tell us when it's expected to come to a vote in the GA?
That one I can, but I can get more information, more details on that for you.
And the second question, would the President of the GA will be meeting with the press before his term is over?
We hope that would happen. I would have, again, to look at his schedule and what is happening in, you know, before the end of his session. I can get back to you on that. So thanks for that question.
Thank you.
Sure. Are there any more questions in the room or online? A great afternoon and great rest of the week.